Can you show me what you did and how did you do it?
Okay, so pretty much when you're just starting out with a new ad account, which this is, you're going to need to click on create. And then for this objective, I chose the lead objective, and you don't really have to worry about any of the other ones. The lead one is the best because it's going to show your ad to people who are more likely to fill out the lead forms and things like that, right? So when you click like submit and name the campaign, you're going to get to something that looks like this. So I named the campaign. You can name whatever you want. And then, of course, we're looking for jobs, so we categorized our ads to employment, and then we selected to the United States. As you're well aware, it's very important. Here, you can set some details, which you can't change the auction. The lead objective is what we chose. If you do...
right there, stop right there. So, what is this auction? I'm really confused with that. What is that?
So it's pretty much, it's with any online advertising platform. It's pretty much, and you can't really change it, so I don't know why they even have that as an option. It's kind of like when each spot you get on the on someone's news feed, it's pretty much like an auction. It's like there's millions of auctions happening, but let's just think of it just one. So let's say there's a candidate that there's like 3 other advertisers trying to show up on the news feed of that candidate. So with an auction, it's kind of like whoever is willing to bid the most or spend the most to get on that person's news feed is going to get their ad shown. That's all that means. So it's pretty much just like how like a normal auction works. Same thing, same story here when it comes to online advertising. And then I never use A/B testing. I think Facebook makes it too confusing. I think you can just do it here, and it's much cleaner. And then if you want to have like a spending limit, so like let's say, hey, I want to spend only $500 on this campaign, and I don't want to spend any more. You can edit it, and then the campaign will stop whenever it reaches that limit for the most part. But if you want but you can always stop it at any time by pausing it or doing whatever. But if you said, hey, I have a strict budget at $500 and I want to make sure it doesn't go over, even if I forget, this is what you would do. And then Advantage Campaign plus Budget. This is really kind of it's kind of setting your budget at the campaign level and not the next level down, which is called the ad set level. And the ad set level, that's where we do all the targeting and things like that. But if you said, like, let's say in this case, for example, right, you didn't really care if you got jobs from people from Suffolk or Portsmouth. I just want applicants. You didn't really care about their location, right? But you knew you could target these 2 locations. With campaign budget optimization, let's say your budget is $10 a day. And let's say you were getting a lot of hits. Like when you start your campaign, you're getting a lot of hits from Suffolk. What this will do is says like, okay, since we're getting a lot more applicants from Suffolk, we're going to put more money into this and not put as much money into Portsmouth or Chesapeake. So like for this example, if you gave it $10 Advantage plus budget, then it's going to first divide it evenly, but then it's going to give more money to the one getting more results. So for $10 a day, it would give $7 to Suffolk, and then maybe $2 to $3 to Portsmouth. So that's what this is. So you really only want to do this if you just want to get as many, like you're going to have different targeting parameters, and you just want to get as many applicants as possible. But if you have like different jobs or different locations where you want to get jobs and you want to make sure that each gets a nice budget, you want to leave this off. That's what it is. There's everything. Cool. So that's everything with the campaign setting. Does that all make sense?
Yes, it makes sense now.
Great. So here is the ad set. So the ad set is pretty much where you kind of do a lot of like the settings of the campaign, like where you want to generate leads and all that kind of stuff. So you can do it. So we selected a lead campaign. So you can generate leads through obviously a lot of ways. But the ways that I find best for job applicants is either instant form or messenger. I don't use both, but I use either or. Both ways are really good.
What did you use for me?
I use instant. Yeah, we're doing instant form. So this is like someone clicks on it and it generates a form right on Facebook, and this is really good because with the Apple iOS update, it's getting harder to track leads if they go through a website and fill out a form. So by doing an instant form, they're still on Facebook, thus we're not affected all by those tracking parameters or whatever.
Gotcha. I understand that there.
Yeah, and then you select the Facebook page. So this is the Facebook page I created for you. And then it's gonna ask you to accept the terms and whatever, and then you can just accept them. The performance goal is just you want the maximum number of leads to get as many applicants as possible. The cost per result is, I don't recommend setting one because it can limit your campaign. So if let's say you want to, so we're getting applicants for like $3, right? If we're setting it for like $1, then Facebook's not going to show your ad as much to people that could have potentially been a good applicant. Thus, it will hinder your performance. So unless you're very strict on it or you're willing to wait for the results, I don't recommend doing anything here.
Alright.
And then the show more options you can't really change, but when you get charged is impressions, and the delivery type is standard. So with impressions, it's pretty much anytime someone sees your ad, Facebook is going to charge you, whether they do anything or not. Standard is just standard delivery, so you're not trying to accelerate or anything like that. We don't need to do dynamic creative because we don't need to have a bunch of different assets and things like that, and we do that in the ad level as well. And then the budget, so here's where you can set your budget to whatever you want it to be. So for your campaign right now, it's at $10 a day for each ad set, so you're spending a total of $20 a day. And then the start date is just whenever we start the campaign. You can set an end date if you want. So like if you say, hey, I only want to make sure this runs for only 2 weeks, you can set an end date.
You can go ahead and won't you go ahead and end that now then while we're right here.
Do you want me to pause it now?
Yeah, you can go ahead and pause it now.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you can always just pause any ad set or whatever here, or in the campaign level, it's easier. You can just pause it here, or you can click it here if you just want to pause it for right now.
Either or. Okay.
Yeah, either or does the same thing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll pause it for now while we're going through it, and then see what we can do from there. And then budget scheduling. This is very new, but I don't think we don't need it. So it's just pretty much you can have budget increase in times when you think there's going to be more demand. So if you know that people are looking for jobs after their regular work shift, you can say, hey, anytime between 5:30 and 7 p.m., I want to be more aggressive with how much I'm pushing this ad, so you can try it. But it doesn't really matter. I don't usually use it.
Okay.
So now the audience is pretty much defined who you want to see your ad, so it's the targeting. So because we are doing employment category, we are very restricted on how we can target. And this is just simply because we can't discriminate based on people's location, age, and whatever. So the age you can't change, the gender you can't change, and the location we have to choose at least a 15-mile radius, no matter where you choose. So even if you pin somewhere. So what I did for your campaign is because I believe that with Suffolk and some other job, I think definitely for Portsmouth and Chesapeake, I pinned it kind of in between, so that way it's encountering both those cities. But you can't reduce it any more than to 15 miles. You can make it more if you want, but you can't make it any less because you can't target by specific zip codes. If you do, then it has to be by a 15-mile radius. And then for the detailed targeting, for you, I don't have any. I just have broad targeting at the moment because usually Facebook's very good.
What is that right there, the detailed targeting? What would that be?
Yeah, so this is like if you wanted to add like interests or behaviors that Facebook knows that people have, you can add that here. So usually, from my experience from getting applicants, usually broad targeting works very well on its own. It depends on the position. So, for example, I've helped let's say a plumber get more plumbing applicants applying for him, right? So you can add interest or something that's related to plumbing, so like plumbing construction or something like that.
Okay.
Or if I helped I helped someone try to find registered nurses. So well, I think there is a nursing one. I'm not sure. I don't think there is, but instead, most nurses took advanced biology, so you can just take you can add biology, and then maybe you get something from there. So,
Alright, cool.
what you can also do is browse them, because these are like the only things that we have. So what I like to do sometimes is like I'll browse them and see, okay, which one fits something that my potential applicant would be interested in. So maybe I don't know, like, so if we're doing cleaning, so like employment and careers is one that I always choose, that I usually do choose sometimes. It also depends on how big the area is. So if the area that you're targeting is pretty big already, then it's fine to do the detailed targeting to kind of get it down even more, although it's not necessary. However, if your area is pretty small, which in this case it kind of is, because it's under, I think anything under 400,000 I consider that pretty small. I don't add any more detailed targeting, because when I do, it's going to lower it. But like sometimes I'll do like employment, different things like that. I'll add different interests just to see, just to get people who are like interested in looking for employment and things like that. But however, you can see how I really reduce the audience, and it's going to make it more, it's going to be slower or more expensive. So that's the ad set level with everything, and also the languages as well. So you can set, like, if you want to only attract people who speak English, you can put English here. If you know that a lot of cleaners are, they speak Spanish, you can put Spanish here. So you can put whatever language you want, but I usually leave it at all languages in your case, because I think it doesn't really matter. I think most cleaners they speak English, Spanish, they speak whatever language. So I think it's fine.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, so the placement, so I just keep it at Advantage Plus placement, and this it's pretty much just Facebook's way of Facebook's different platforms of like where they can show you ads. So it's not just the news feed, and it's not just the news feed. It's also Facebook Reels, Instagram ads, the Audience Network, which is just a bunch of different sites that Facebook has access to, different things like that that you can put.
So you guys leave it as is? Huh?
I just leave it as is, because what it's gonna do is it's gonna mainly, how Facebook works is pretty much, it's just gonna, once it gets like a small little nibble of what works, it's gonna put 80% of the budget into that. So once they see that the newsfeed ads or the mobile ads are working better, it's gonna put more of the budget into that for you anyway. So it's not really much to worry about. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, great. So now we get into the ads. So I usually create at least 2 to 3 ads for any job position, and the pictures you have work, or just the logo works, but I like to use real photos as well. So like photos of, like, let's say someone cleaning a facility, or like you and your cleaning team at like an outing, just like showing you and employees and what a realistic day in the life would look like when working for you. That's what I usually put here. But so like I would say that if you did have those photos, your ads would perform even better. Simply just having like a more realistic photo. But I mean, for how it is now, I think it's also working too. So
Okay.
So you can name the ad whatever you want. You already chose the Facebook page on the ad set level, so you don't have to worry about that. And then if you have an Instagram, it's gonna automatically collect it here. And then usually I do single image or video. I honestly, I haven't seen much of a difference when it comes to if images work better than videos. I think anything works better. I think as long as you have something, that's fine. It should be okay. But if you do have videos, you can retarget people through people who've seen the video. So that's another benefit of using that. And then the media, I just keep this all the same. It just formats it in different ways to make sure it fits stories, videos, and all that kind of stuff. And then for the ad copy, I have pretty much just the job that you're offering. And then kind of like the next thing I want, it's kind of like the reason of why they should apply, or pretty much the reason of why they should apply for this job. So I kind of think of ways that's realistic of like, okay, if I was looking for a job and I'm scrolling on Facebook, what am I going to want to see, or what am I going to need to hear in order to know that, okay, I can make the next step to get this kind of job, to get this job, right? So in this case, it's no experience needed, but you can test a bunch of different things. So it's kind of like an incentive to work with you compared to somebody else. So it could be they don't need much experience, you'll train them. It could be a sign-on bonus. It could be they could start in the next couple days. It could be a fast start on. It could be a lot of different things of why that they should go with you. Of course, you want to make sure you can actually do these things, but you want to have something like that. And then I have a short little sentence about like, who you guys are, being a part of a team that's flexible, pays weekly, no experience needed. And then you can either have if you have more benefits. So let's say, I don't think you have this because I'm sure it's a contractors, but like in the case of the future that you do, I usually have the benefits first of what people can expect to get if they work for you. But then you can also have the requirements as well. So it's like, okay, you have a driver's license, you can pass a background check, and then you can also say like, oh, here, the pay's up to $14 an hour, you can start by next week, and the hours that they expected to work. And then I just have a final call to action saying, hey, if you're looking to start your new career, your own schedule. And then I always have like a time, so like take 1 minute, take 30 seconds or whatever to apply, because that tells people, okay, this is not going to take too much of my time for me to go ahead and apply. So that's why I have the time thing there. And then for the headline, which is what I have here, and this is usually like the first thing people see if the image doesn't grab their attention. It's usually this. So I just have, again, the same thing here, the headline of like what you're looking for, no experience needed, or I'm testing two different benefits. So it's either get an interview fast or no experience needed. See which one works better. The description, you can add something, but I usually don't. It doesn't really matter. I would just add, call this number to apply, or you can add more about your company. It's really hard to see because it doesn't really show. It only really shows on desktop. And then call to apply now. And you can also add multiple text options as well. So if you want to add another one just for Facebook to test, you can add it here, and then it will swap whichever one you can have. And then apply now. And then for the form, I have the application. So down here, so once they click on the ad, they click on apply now. I just have something here, a form, and then I'll show you how I made this form. Of like, do you have a driver's license? They hit yes or no. Do you have a past background check? Yes. Reliable transportation? Yes. Are you fully employed? Yes or no. And then they click next. And then pretty much if they hit yes to everything, or I forget what it was that like if it hits no, it disqualifies them or whatever. But it says yes, you're qualified. Leave your information here, and then we'll reach out for an interview. And then it has the privacy policy. And then it says here, like, we'll reach out to schedule an interview. Then you can visit the. I have the form that you have on the that you sent me as like the final thing that people can visit. Or if they say no to one of the answers that you told me that they wouldn't be qualified if they said no to, they get this. They say thank you for your interest, but based on your answers, you might not be interested. And then yeah, we just leave it at that.
And you got, I just see there where you have view website. What is that? They have an option to view the website too.
Yeah, so you have to put something down here. You can't just leave it at that. So I think I just put the form there again, so then they can look at it. But they already know.
If they hit view website, it's gonna go to my website.
It's gonna go to the form that you sent me.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know why it's in 10 minutes. We'll move to Google Meet if that's the case. So just to show you what the form looks like, it just so this is the name when you name it, and another very important thing, I go into the settings and then I make the sharing. I make sure that it's open. That's because if people click the share icon here, that if they share a job posting or whatever, and other people see it, if it was unrestricted, then they wouldn't be able to apply. But because it's on open, they'll be able to apply. So that's very important. Because a lot of job posts do get shared, so it is something that we want to have. So I don't have an intro because I kind of want to just keep things as concise as possible, and I don't want to add any more extra layers of like words and things I have to read. So this is when I go into the questions of do you have a driver's license, and then if they answer yes or no, and then they move on to question 2, and then if they have yes or no, question 3, and then I think for this one it's kind of like if they don't have reliable transportation, then they get disqualified, and if they're currently employed, they go to here. Okay. So that's pretty much So once that's all set up, I set it all up and whatever. You don't have to worry about URL parameters because we don't have to worry about like the tracking and the keywords and all that kind of stuff. I usually just go ahead and I quickly duplicate it, and then all I would do really is change the photo. So here I just change it to the logo, and then again quickly duplicate, and then I change it to the image you sent me. So I think images like this work very well. If you don't have photos of like you and your actual team doing something, but like having images with words of what the job requirements are and things like that, I think that works very well. So.
But action images with me and my team works better though, huh?
Yeah, I would say those work those work better because they give like a realistic view and it's kind of more organic to Facebook. So yeah, stock photos they can work. But again, it's not just about what kind of works, but like what works the best. But I've been seeing images like these, with like the words and stuff like that, doing very well for different industries. But also images like of you and your team, like at a outing or at a company outing, also works very well too.
Okay, all right. So now, once that happens, how do you get it? Do it come to your email? Do it come to your email, or do it?
So I have a Zapier integration set up. So what Zapier is, it's pretty much it allows you to connect different things. So it allows you to connect different platforms with each other, so that way they can communicate. So in your case, where is it? I have something here, where every time a new lead is generated from Facebook, it's going to send an email. So
okay,
it sends from my email, it sends to you, and then it says new janitor application, and then it has their full name. So the data I get here, so
that's kind of sweet, dude. So you really you got it set on automatic, so it's gonna hit.
Oh yeah.
You don't really got to set that stuff.
Oh yeah. Did you think I was sending all those applications to you at one time, like manually? Absolutely not.
Okay. No, I got you. It makes sense. Okay.
No, yeah. No, I wasn't. No, I'm not. I don't have time to be. I said it.
Yeah.
There's many different ways you can do it, but yeah. So pretty much I have it so it says the full name, phone number.
So once they